Here, can you hear me?
Oh, I can't. I think you're
Hello?
muted.
Yeah.
Yep, I can hear you now.
Okay, and we're recording, and you'll send me a copy of this, right?
No, if you want to record it, you go ahead and hit record.
Okay, there's a button here separately.
If you go up to the top, I think there's an ellipsis, and if you click on that, or maybe it's at the bottom of the screen actually, there'll be an ellipsis. Take a look at that, and it should just have a record.
What's ellipsis?
Yeah, the three dots.
Oh, never heard that before. Okay, I see that it has the option. And is it supposed to turn red?
I
Request
don't know,
host
Martin.
to
I don't
record the
normally
cloud.
record, so.
Pardon?
I don't normally record, so.
Okay, so it seems you have to give me permission.
I don't know how to give you permission either, sir. What is it saying with the permissions?
It's saying request host to record to the cloud.
Yeah, well, I don't have access to the cloud, so I can't give you, I don't know how that would work.
Okay, will you then email me a copy of the recording?
I don't intend to record it. I'm recording right now, but I don't intend to record and provide this to anybody. This is only being recorded on my end because you chose to include the press in your emails. So I'm just making sure that we have a clear copy here. But as a practice, no, I don't record these. So if you're not able to record, I'm happy to shut my recording off as well.
Oh no, I don't want to change my mind about a recording. I just want to be able to have a copy.
Well, there are. You can do information requests to the BCGEU, okay? And what I'll do is I'll just leave the recording on, and then you can do an information request, and it can go through whoever that is in our headquarters who looks after that stuff.
All right then. And Jeff, hi, my name's Martin, and you are Jeff, and you told me today that you are not a college staff, you're specifically a BCGEU staff.
That's correct, yeah. I've never worked for the college.
I'm not speaking loudly because I'm at the library, and I would have had to pay $15 to have a private room, so.
Yeah, I can hear you well. That's why I put headphones on, so I can hear you well.
Okay, and I'm assuming that you want to lead the conversation, or do you want me to lead the conversation?
What I want to know is what I had offered to assist you with is because you were terminated during the probationary period. I offered to assist you with the grievance process if you so wanted to file a grievance. You indicated that I was making an assumption that that's what you wanted to grieve. So why don't we start with what is it that you want to grieve regarding your employment at the college?
There are many, many things. And of course, I would have preferred to start at the beginning, which is what I was preparing for today. But of course, starting at the beginning won't get us to everything in 1 hour. So I believe that our last emails got us to the point where we're just going to focus for now on the salary scale and the pay stubs, right? Which I sent you yesterday. Now, this is not the limit of my grievances, but to make it realistic for an hour, I suggested this.
Okay, so hold on. So one, you want to take a look at, you want to grieve your placement on the salary scale?
Yeah.
Okay. What else do you want to grieve?
Well, today we're covering just one portion, the salary scale and the pay
Martin,
stubs.
I've invited you to a meeting. What else would you like? If you want to make it argumentative, there's no point in us meeting. I'm trying to assist you. I've been nothing but respectful to you, and I want the same back. What else would you like to grieve?
So, sir, your opinion of how you were with me is not something I agree with. So we don't have to go there. If we're making a recording, we'll let somebody else decide. But can we start now about salary scale and pay stubs? Is that okay?
Yes, that's fine.
Okay. Do you want to lead the conversation or I lead the conversation?
Well, you lead it. I don't know what your issue is.
Okay. First, can I ask you, do you agree to have our conversation be reality-based?
I have no idea what you mean.
That means it's not fictional, it's non-fiction. We're going to deal with facts, and I'm going to present you facts, and if there's anything you want me to send you later, I'll send you later. We agree with that?
That sounds good to me, Mark.
Okay, and the other thing is that probably we will both be triggered. Now, of course, I was triggered first, and I was triggered, 7 months ago, let's say, or even before that, if you calculate all interactions with the college. But I'm going to tone it down and stick to this topic. But of course, feelings come up. This is a conflict type grievance scenario, right? We're good with that? We're going to deal with that?
If there ends up being conflict and I find that I'm being insulted or I find that you're speaking to me in an inappropriate way, I will end the meeting. That's how I'll deal with this.
Okay. And my promise to you is to treat you the same way that I expect you to treat me. Okay? So starting, how about, did you get a chance to review the pay stubs? I sent you 4.
I've looked at them, but there's nothing for me to review if you don't tell me what the issue is. I mean, you haven't told me what I'm looking for. I see a pay stub.
Yeah, so in the pay stub, there's 4 of them. There's a lot of inconsistencies, and that's some of the information that we can discuss for this grievance.
Which one do you want to highlight one for me, and I'll bring it up? Because I have your email from yesterday up. I figured we'd be looking at those attachments, so I just have them up here.
Yeah, so thank you. So there is one for May 31st. That was the first payment. And then June 14th, June 28th, and July 12th.
And which one do you want to look at? I've got all 4 here as attachments.
Well, if you haven't noticed anything yet, I'll bring up the things one at a time. Did you notice that in 4 pay stubs, I've received 3 different salary scales? Did you notice this? One is actually not mentioned, but I calculated at around where it would be. Now, the reason that I'd like you to explain this is when I received from Maggie in HR at the Terrace Coast Mountain College, location, and she works head of HR, but possibly also head of pay. I'm not sure.
She manages payroll, yeah.
Yeah. So that means it could be just that person. Because I did hear back from somebody else who's head of payroll, but probably under Maggie. Now, I've asked questions many times, and I can prove this, and I didn't get answers. But when she sent me on May 31st, the day of my first paycheck, is her decision about pay scale, is it does say BCGEU agrees to this. I don't know if you've read one of these letters before. I can read.
Yeah, do you want me to explain that piece to you, just so you have a clear understanding about the BCGEU agreeing?
Yeah, and how they are vouching for Maggie there, yeah.
Yeah, so, the BCGEU isn't necessarily vouching for Maggie, but what is being said there is this is the process that's agreed to through the collective agreement signed with the college and with the BCGEU. So there's a process that's agreed to through bargaining about how salary scale will be applied.
And I've asked for the specifics of that to both the HR department and to Seth Downs, the union steward. And nobody's providing me that.
Did the second copy of the collective, sorry for interrupting, but did the second copy of collective agreement, did that get you the link I sent? Did that one work? Because the first one,
did you send me another one from the one that didn't work?
I did, yeah.
Okay, I can look at it, but if you know of a specific area that relates to this topic, let's read that, because when I read it on a previous version, it's extremely short and it doesn't provide the details of how these decisions are made. So it's hard for me to contest it without the details. Is it at the whim of somebody? Is that what the collective agreement says? Whatever Maggie feels like? Or there's a specific set of parameters to judge this?
I will give you, it's a little confusing when you first go through it. I won't argue that. But if you look at article... Do you have pen and paper to make notes of this? Because if you don't have the collective agreement in front of you, you'll probably want to research it after.
Go ahead.
So under Article 25.14, increments for instructional staff, as you go to, it's blocked off into a number of sections. So A, B, C, and then under C, So 25.142C specifically reflects initial placement on scale.
Did you say 2C?
Yep, 25.14.
And that sounds like what I looked up before. And when I looked it up before, and you'll read it now, I guess, is it says very little. But go ahead and read that part.
Well, no, I'm not going to sit here and read the collective agreement to you. I provided it to you. I'm telling you where it is.
I'm not asking you to read the collective agreement. We're
Oh, that's what I heard, sir.
No, so are you saying how long do you think it'll take to read 2514 2C?
I don't understand your question. What do you mean?
Do you believe we will run out of time if you read me 25.14?
Don't worry about the time too much unless you have a full stop at the end. I've got time at the end if we need to extend it.
Okay, so can you read that, or do you want me to read it by opening it and you'll give me a minute to go find it?
Yeah, you go find it. I'm not going to read to you today.
Okay. So I'm going to go find it. And is it, and this is the one that expires in 2022, right? It's the same one that you sent me. Can you tell me the date of when you sent it to me and the one that works?
I'll look it up in a sec, but I not only sent you the collective agreement, I sent you what is also called a ratification document, because we did bargain the new agreement, but it's sitting with the employer reviewing the changes before it actually hits print. So that ratification document does have a change in the specific section of the collective agreement. So you might want to go to the ratification document.
Okay, so tell me where it is. I'm looking at my inbox now. Which email are you talking about?
Hold on just a second here, Martin, and I will see how quick I can find it.
Yeah, because when I said that I opened a link that didn't work, you said that you had meant, because you noticed that, you had meant to send me a new one, but you know, like I don't know where it is, the one that you had meant or the one after I told you I couldn't open it.
Yeah, and I sent it to you on July 12th. I can quickly resend it right now if that's the easiest.
Oh, okay, go for it. Yes, it would be easy, yes. I'll do the reading. I won't charge you for it.
Well, and like I said in my email, my friend, nobody's going to pay a claim to you from the BCGEU for this.
Yeah, so the way you're talking to me now is not a union steward. It's a lawyer of BCGEU type response.
No, I'm not a lawyer.
Which is okay, because the BCGEU is also in trouble, right?
I don't believe so. I mean, but you're entitled to your opinion, sir.
Well, data matters. So let me know when you send it. In the meantime,
it's been sent.
Okay. Okay, there's, yeah, okay, so which one did you want me to read? The one that says ratification?
Pull up the ratification document. I'll pull it up here too to make sure it's actually working. I did double check it again last time. It happened with a couple of people and a couple of different agreements last week,
So this is one that was just ratified?
Yeah, we did the bargaining at the conclusion of the last collective agreement. We bargained for the next one, right? So this was done. It just hasn't, and it's all ratified. It just isn't in print yet.
Okay, so can you tell me when this was concluded, this ratification?
Not off the top of my head. If it's not included in the document at the conclusion of bargaining.
Is very recent?
2023.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I don't know if I was given access until now or recently from you for anything that goes past 2022. Now, which section, I got this up right now under a page document. Which part do you want me to, because this is what Maggie would have also have had access to since 2023?
She sure would have. Go down to Article 25.14. They're all listed in here by article.
You know, when we opened the regular agreement, would it be the same numbers usually, 25.14?
Generally, yeah.
Okay, so
sometimes they do change, though, just to be fully clear. Sometimes they'll change because stuff gets moved around through the bargaining process, but on here, 25.14 is the language.
Yeah, so here, I don't know if I'm reading this right, but there's a dental plan, which is 23.3, and then there's 25.4 vehicle allowance. So is it,
And then there's 25.5, and then it goes down. They're numerical, right? So then 25.14 comes after that.
oh, because it's not the one that counts, it's the
No,
14 that
yeah,
counts.
it's the
Ah,
full number that counts there.
oh,
Yeah,
thank you. Yeah, okay. Thanks for your patience for letting me understand
yeah,
this.
it's not an issue, man.
Okay, yeah. Okay, so there's about a page worth of this. Okay. Instructors shall progress one increment for each year of seniority through. Okay, so that's after, right? Cross union appointments. Okay. Okay, so
That's a
two
question I did
C.
have for you on this subject, because you mentioned, well, actually, you worked at BIU, right? And although they're a BCGEU cert, they're not covered under a common agreement here. So, never mind. Sorry, thinking out loud, sir. I do that a lot.
Well, thanks for letting me know that you do have some awareness of what I've provided already as information. So 224 2C. Okay, it's pretty short, that part. Although there's a 1 after that. Initial placement on scale. See Article 12.3 of the Common Agreement. Oh, common is when it's like multiple colleges are under, let's say, the same thing, right?
That's right. There are a number of colleges, and this collective agreement, or the language that we're looking at here, is the local piece. So it only applies to Coast Mountain, and the common applies to a number of agreements. I did look up that language under 12.3 this morning, and it is.
Yeah, I'll just stop you for a second because this is actually what I had read before, I think. Are the parts that are yellow the parts that are changed on this
Yes.
document? Okay, so
Yeah.
that
If
means
you'll
this is
see
the
some
same
stuff
as the one
stricken
I.
out,
Hmm?
you'll see some stuff that has lines through it. So that's language that's been removed from the current collective agreement. And then you'll see stuff that's bolded, underlined, and in yellow. And that's new language to the collective agreement.
Okay, so here, what I read so far under 2C is the same that I read before on the one that expires in 2022. But then it
Yeah, the
also
nominal
provides.
change.
Pardon?
There's only a nominal change further down.
Okay, so the one, yeah, on the same page, right? In exceptional circumstances, this maximum may be waived with the union's agreement, and such agreement will not unreasonably be withheld. In exceptional. Okay, well, that it's hard to read that without reading everything that leads to it. But here's one question I have for you: is because on my form, on my letter from her, which I think the BCGO receives a copy of, is she only put my bachelor's. Uh, Now, I have 3 post-secondary degrees, which I had informed her of prior. So does she put all 3, or does she put 1, and why did she not put the higher level one?
Just a sec. I'm just making a note. What are your 3 degrees?
I don't know if you saw my resume. Did you get a chance? Because I have 3 different ones.
No, I don't have your.
Okay,
I've,
so
I've
there's
seen all the
a.
stuff that you've. I've seen the stuff that you've sent me. Have I committed it to memory? Not a chance.
Okay, so I have a DEC, Diplôme d'études collégiales. I have a bachelor's, and then I have a master's level diploma, a graduate diploma, which of course you need to have a bachelor's to be even, approved to be in a master's program, right?
So I need you to go back to the first one. And pardon my ignorance of French. I'm just not fluent in French. I'm as
Diplôme
unfluent in French as
d'études collégiales is a college degree of 2 years on average, and maybe it's 3 now over the years. It depends, but that requires the high school diploma and then the grades to be approved. Now, the bachelor's doesn't always require a college degree before, but it helped because when I did my bachelor's, they credited me 1 year of university credits for the 2-year college degree.
Right. So that would be more of a college diploma rather than a degree, right?
Post-secondary degree is the term I use because it's after high school. So,
But
and
I need some clarity here, Martin.
go
So
ahead.
I need to. This was you got this at a college level, not at a university level.
Yeah, that's correct. CEGEPs
Okay.
are not universities. Yeah.
Okay. So I believe, and I could be wrong here, but I believe we refer to those as diplomas, not degrees.
Oh, okay. So in the language of the collective agreement.
It's my understanding. I could be completely wrong, but it's something I will research.
Okay, but I mean, this is not something specific to what I was asking you. So what I was asking you is, out of the three post-secondary degrees, why was only that one shown on the letter of scale, the Bachelor of Arts?
Because I guess that's the only one they recognized at the time. I couldn't tell you. That's why I'm asking. Where did your Bachelor of Arts, where's that from?
University of Ottawa.
Okay, and what was your third degree?
Graduate diploma. It's a master's level. It was at Vancouver Island University. So these are 600 courses, right? They're above the bachelor's level courses.
Okay, so and is part of your application then you provided a transcript showing you have your master's from the VIU?
I provided a lot of details to Maggie before May 31st, and some of them show, like screenshots of grade point average, things like that, and diplomas in scanned formats. But my question is, with the scale, because you have the collective agreement there, probably both documents, how does it work, like with going one level at a time? For example, do you get two levels when you have, let's say, a bachelor's and another degree above that? How does it work?
Well, let's see what the language says.
I'm going to go to that ratification.
Well, it says if you go to the third paragraph under educational credentials, it says postgraduate certification, bachelor's plus the CGA, CMA, CA, master's degree, etc. Initial placement will start at the BFA 9. So that would be at the scale rating of a BFA 9. That's where you would start.
Okay, so, and what you're saying is they only count one.
Yeah, because if you look at the staging here, if you look at the first paragraph, a 2-year diploma, you would start their calculation based on the step 11, the lowest step, right?
Oh, that's one way to know maybe it's not counted. That's why I would have started at 11. Okay.
Yeah, so if they just looked at your diploma, you would start at an 11. If they looked at your bachelor's degree, you would start at the 10. And if they recognized and saw your master's, you should start at a 9.
Okay, so they can recognize more than one degrees. Okay, so right now we've identified an issue with the collective agreement that I should have at the graduate level had an extra bump. Then we can go down to the category of teaching or provincial instructor diplomas.
Yep.
So I provided information that I'm a life skills coach. Now that's the term that was culturally acceptable, but it is also an instructor level diploma. Plus driving instructor with the province. I provided that information. And part of it was actually the Justice Institute of BC that wanted us to do the in-classroom, which was a week full-time, to be at the Justice Institute that I went to New Westminster. So that also qualifies as instructors. So I wasn't explained why none of these kind of would qualify. And again, we have to look at the definition of these words that are used, because
so that training would be more under experiential credits. I would think it would fall under there if it's related, because if we look back, one additional increment shall be granted on the initial placement to those who possess a teaching certificate or a provincial instructor's diploma. So if you don't have one of those, you don't get the extra step, and those don't come into play if you already start at the 9.
Okay, so you're saying that I was already at the 9 based on the
No, no, I'm not saying that. I'm relating the language of the collective agreement that if you have a teaching certificate or an instructor's provincial instructor's diploma, then you would get a credit for that unless you're already started, unless they already ranked you at the 9 level, right? So if they already said, yeah, you got a master's, you're starting at a 9, then there's not another lift for the teaching certificate.
Okay, I'm gonna look just at my letter again just to see how they moved that. Do you have that open? I sent you that in case you didn't have it, right?
You did, but just let me get back to your email because I went to
The
mine. So,
attachment is called CMTN BCGEU 4.
yep, got it.
Okay, so 11 is because, and let's say they start with education as a way to do one criteria at a time, then 11 means that the college diploma might be seen as being nice, but it starts me there. Now I got down to 10 with my bachelor's, but my graduate one is not there. Now
It's not there.
under professional certification designation, teaching certificate, provincial diploma, I did provide Maggie beforehand of that information, right? Of the life skills coach, which is extremely useful and actually is described as being very beneficial for teaching adults, and also the instructor, driving instructor um, um, certificates as well. So
I'm not sure how the driving instructor though relates to the work you were doing. Can you explain that piece
well,
to me?
that was a question I had for them because my Bachelor of Arts is majoritively psychology and philosophy. So, plus, if you look at the job description, it doesn't say they would only hire somebody with a degree in adult education. So we're getting into a lot of nobody has the same opinion. So, and I just want to go by what's decided and not argue that. But what's decided must be very precise.
Well, I think it's very important that you get paid correctly for work you do as well.
Yeah, and then Jeff, again, bringing you back to the topic of these four pay stubs have three different salary scales where one is not even mentioned what it is. Again, this is a good beginning of things that need to be grieved and explained.
So tell me which pay stub you want to look at, and you show me, walk me through where the differences are, just so that I don't have any
Well, we're
mistakes when I
starting to
get.
work together here, and I appreciate it, and I'm going to give you a way to kind of verify quickly. But if you can open all four, and I didn't mention one, two, three, four, I just mentioned their dates, right?
Yeah.
So if you look at all four of them, and you can look after, is the first pay stub is my salary was 39.385. The second pay stub, no information is given. I've calculated it at around maybe 42.50. And then the last two was at 46.948. Now, the fact that I've been talking about this with them even before that letter was decided on May 31st, and even after requesting information and explanations from both Maggie and set downs at the BCGEU, is why do I see these differences and still nobody has these conversations with me? And again, I could assume what the thinking was, but I don't want to do that. Now, the other thing, Jeff, is that if you look at all four, there are three different choices of deductions. Like, for example, the first pay stub, my deductions are CPP, EI, federal, provincial, and BCGEU. Then the next one, the same. But the third one is missing federal tax and provincial tax. And if you look at the fourth one, it's only missing deductions of provincial tax. So that's some strange inconsistencies again there. Now, whether it's in my favor or not, that's a different conversation with how I filled out my tax forms, which, in my opinion, were not legally processed the right way. And then the third thing is, well, you can just tell me this. It might be accurate, but the union fee is different, $41.22. So it doesn't match my scale. Is that normal?
Yeah, because your union dues are based on a percentage of your gross pay, right? So you under the BCGEU Constitution, it's
Oh,
1.85% of your gross pay,
okay.
and then from that, there's specific incomes or there's specific things on here that wouldn't be subject to the deduction, and then but the majority are subject to the
But what I
deduction of
see though
1.85%.
is the two, let's say 2 hours or the hourly wage of my time with BCGEU is you also add the 4% benefit and the 7% vacation.
Yeah.
Now,
Now remember that BCGEU was the union, and not the employer. Okay.
yeah, oh, are you saying that it's on my pay stub, but it's the union that makes it go through the same deposit as the pay with the employer?
No, we don't. That's all the employer, right? The employer controls your pay. We administer your collective agreement.
But it's actually added on to my pay. So how do you
Your
explain it?
your union dues, yeah, they're mandatory.
No, not the dues. The fee. I said I spent 2 hours working on this union grievance, and they put that in there under the salary of 41.22, which I guess now would be an average of these three different pay scales. But they put that on there.
Yeah, so what they've done there is that additional 2 hours, or how it seems to me, because of course I wasn't there, so I couldn't say for certain. They've calculated your base rate of pay and added 4% for benefits and added 7% for vacation pay.
And when you said at the beginning of this question is how that scale is determined different than my instructor scale, is you're saying they average it out. Can you be more specific? Because for me, if that's an average out, it would be an average of of the first three
I
salary
don't think I
scales.
said anything was averaged out. Marty, I don't know what you're referring to there. Sorry.
Okay, let's look at just pay stub 3. Okay, I'm going to open that with you.
What's the date on that one?
It is June 28th. By the way, I'm okay with you calling me Marty.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I know that in some emails you're Marty, some
Yeah,
you're not, so I wasn't sure which.
yeah,
I
and it's
apologize. I should have asked.
yeah, and sometimes people don't ask, but I'm okay with it. So if you look at the number of hours, so 8.75 is instructor related hours, and then BCGU auxiliary instructor is 2 hours because I did report this that I've been interacting with Union Steward, right? To Colin Elliott and maybe Kelly Jean as well, right? So I see it as part of what the college put in my account. So, and yes, I think I remember in the past when I was with the BCGU that is a separate payment usually, right? You receive that separately than the college. And you see,
You're talking about the ads to pay, like the vacation payout and the benefit payout.
no, I'm talking about 2 hours.
Right, and it's saying that includes the 4% to benefits and the 7% vacation pay.
Oh, you know what that could be, and it could be my error. It could be that's actually traveling. Because I never got reimbursed for time I spent on BCGU grievance work so far. Like today was an hour and a half to just prepare for this appointment today. So this could just be transportation, because it's a 2-hour ferry. But then it has a different scale. So it's not updated. Maybe is it an average of the last three pay scales? I don't know. So that would be the third.
That's a really good question. I don't have an answer for that, but I could certainly reach out to Maggie and find out why there's two different pay rates based there.
And again, when I ask, somehow I get banned from places. So yes, it's better that you ask. Maybe you won't get banned.
Yeah, I can see that happening with your style, Marty. I can see that happening. So,
Well,
yeah,
my
that's
style
something
is
I can
critical
do.
thinking and reality based for sure. Yeah. And again, Jeff, I mean, you might have experienced a little bit of both, cooperation with the Doctor of Humanics or, conflict mode with the Captain of Accountability. And these choices are as much yours in our interactions as they are mine, right? So I appreciate that you choose more the good bedside manner with me to review the facts, right? And again, it's not about money. It's about being oppressed by people that have less competency in their work than they claim I have in mine. And it was very upsetting when Kelly Jean said that Maggie had told her at one point, because I'm asking her to review this work, is why'd you hire this guy anyways? Now, can you imagine how I would feel knowing I'm already overqualified for this and to turn my life upside down for this contract? So yes, feelings from me exist as much as they do feelings in others.
And I totally respect feelings of everybody involved. At the same time, I respect mine. And again, I'll say my interactions with you, if you go back and you read any of the information I've sent you, nothing but respectful.
And for me, like the repeating, like for example, today with you, I said, please take the time to review this. Please try to ask information from them to give it to you. So for me, it's like, like Seth Down didn't even show up for a meeting that he was supposed to show up on meetings.
Oh, he was there. I believe you weren't there. I've seen the correspondence for that too. He and Colin were both
No,
there.
but the time the other dean said they're unavailable, something happened, whatever. Are you saying they were there in the shadows incognito?
No. You have to remember that Seth is the bargaining chair and a steward. He has a job and he has a life too. He's not always available to attend meetings. So if he's requested to attend a meeting on behalf of the BCGEU and he's not available, then it's up to you to find a different steward to attend in his place.
And for me, is I prefer to be my own steward because, like I get less triggered, than having to repeat and having people give me a vibe. And you've had this vibe because everybody had this vibe. When somebody disturbs the status quo, no matter how well it's documented that the status quo is wrong, that person becomes unpopular. For example, to be, because I said this in a vlog you might have seen on my YouTube, is to be actually banned from a campus for good behaviors, for competence, which hurts my reputation, that becomes a new thing to add to the grievance with the BCGEU. Because they didn't have a valid reason to do this other than this guy looks like a sheep like us, but he acts differently, so he's banned, which harms the reputation of a competent person. That's not okay. Of course, there's feelings related to this. I'd like to be able to give my cat a steady home, but not when I keep being treated like this by the norm. And this, Jeff, by the way, is just one topic. But I'd like to stop it here, and then I can prepare a short email to say the next topic I'd bring up is this. Because you want to add it on one form, there's a lot of things to review. And you could say in that shortened form, I've reviewed pay stubs, scales, I've reviewed this as part of the grievance. Martin's provided his data, and he's got more that he could send at the request. And again, you will see, like I'm reviewing this stuff, and I see some of it is human rights, some of it should be to the RCMP, some of it is Jordan's principle. I can even include animal cruelty, because I was very clear, if you bring me there, don't sabotage this. This is a big shock to my cat. And then even the CRTC, because when media like W5 or Marketplace don't respond, and that's their job, it needs to be explained why they avoid this. And again, nobody wants to talk about the truth about our systemic issues. And what's weird is they're easy to fix. It's just nobody wants to make that little extra effort for the next generation. It's pretty sad.
So I can tell you that you raise a number of issues there. You raised the issue of the press not responding to you. That is way outside our scope. Okay?
Yeah, no, I'm not saying it's a BCGEU.
RCMP or criminal charges, outside my scope. Nothing I can do but say go talk to the police or go consult with a lawyer. Human rights can be in our scope and can be out of our scope. It can be both. And you have an opportunity with a human rights complaint to file your complaint directly with the Human Rights Tribunal. And that's outside of the collective agreement process. So that's something you handle on your own. We're not involved in any way, shape, or form.
Yes, I know all this. But do you know that it gets to the point where all these other categories become included because of the original bad choices of people at the college? So again, the college could have resolved this before it turns into these other things. But they don't. Thanks for saying that there's a part of the collective agreement that may or may not relate to the human rights
Yeah,
categories.
so let's take a quick look at that, and I'll
But
tell you
Jeff,
where what article that might fall
when
under.
some
Okay.
of the things comes from the BCGEU that I would consider are human rights violations as well, then like for how hard it is for me to get your attention on just one part of my grievance while I am charged union fees and while everybody sides with banning me from the campus, that falls under a serious form of oppression of human rights. So of course it involves the BCGEU. So of course I would go there for that complaint directly. I would go to the Human Rights Tribunal. But okay, so which part are you reading? Can I open that part up?
Yeah, I'm just digging for it here, so just bear with me.
Do you say that bear with me because of the facial hair? Bear stuff. My brother just had a bear destroy his beehives, that he's been working on for years. For the first time, it was a bear instead of disease from a couple of winters, but it was the bear. He caught him at night. He kind of scared him away. But
Whereabouts was that?
I wonder if the bear told him, "Hey, bear with me. I need my source of calories." This was in Quebec.
Okay, Article 1.2 in the collective agreement.
Okay,
You'll
so
find it probably on page 3.
so this is not the ratification one, the other one.
No, go to the ratification one actually, because there is a minor change. Now, the only change that's in here is that when we went to bargaining, one of the things that I wanted changed was the specific protected grounds. I wanted them to read exactly as they read under the BC Human Rights.
Please tell me the page again. You're saying they're not page numbers, but they're still the numbers of the sections. But which one?
Well, I'm on page 3. It's Article 1.2, and it will also be in the document, the ratification document.
Because there's page 2 has the picture of people, right? And then you're saying the one after that.
No, because I was looking at the actual collective agreement, so just bear with me a sec here, and I'll get that. Page 1 has the picture of the folks.
Oh, okay. For me, it's page 2. But
what do you get as page 1?
Well, I get just a logo, Coast
Mountain
College, and that blue wave,
Oh, okay.
And it says June 9, 2023. Are you in the back there? Facing camera straight on?
Oh, I've got a laptop facing this way towards me, but I've got a larger monitor over here that
no, I mean in the picture.
I don't see very well.
Are you in the picture? You're the guy with the beard facing straight on, right?
Yeah, in the flowery shirt. That's me.
Okay, so yeah, so for me, there's no pages, but you can tell me the numbers. I'll follow the numbers of the section.
Yeah, and it isn't actually in here. So just go to the collective agreement itself.
Okay, I'm going to open that from your latest email. What time is it? 11. Okay, so on this, you're saying it's page 3?
Yeah, well, it is on my copy. I can't say it is on yours. Sometimes printing will skew all that stuff on you.
Okay.
But it's Article 1.2. So it's near the front of the collective agreement.
Yeah, the employer and the union agree that under the collective agreement there shall be no discrimination, interference, restriction, or coercion exercised or practiced with respect to any employee in the matter of hiring, wage rates, training, upgrading, promotion, transfer, layoff, recall, discipline, classification, discharge, or otherwise by reason of age, race, creed, color, national origin, religion, political affiliation or activity, sexual orientation, sex or marital status, family relationship, place of residence, physical handicap, gender, identity, nor by reason of membership or activity in the union. Nothing in clause shall be interpreted as prohibited the parties from jointly agreeing to an affirmative action. And then, yeah, okay, so for me, like the category is, for example, I walk the talk of the standards that most people claim they already have. So I don't know if that falls under all these different categories, but for me, it's like I presented data. You sabotage this work, you hurt my reputation. But also, this letter of you didn't pass the probation period, I had already weeks before told them they already had 3 strikes in our probation period. Plus, they say this in the letter without giving details. So, in a way, they don't like that I've been documenting their failures. And I don't just do this for me, because if you watch my YouTube videos, or if you read a lot of my work, I'm a culture repairer. I can't stop from being a culture repairer. I can't stop from being learner centered, which I've been very clear with them from the beginning. And they say, oh, we're like that too. Oh, you'll be surprised. There'll be times when there'll be a conflict where I'm learner centered and you don't want to apply what that looks like. So again, Jeff, when one of my students that saw me the most, I gave her an assignment in English. And I asked her, I said, do you agree that this is your assignment? And I gave her choices. She could record an audio, a video, or just in writing. And I say, I have a meeting, and it was with the other dean that presented this letter of firing, is there'll be important people at the college. Do you agree that I could send your assignment to them, where it talks about how she feels with the lack of support? And I was hoping that I could read it to them, but the lady, another Kelly, a dean there, wasn't
Kelly
interested.
Schwinn.
And then nobody ever responded, because I sent it to everybody like I promised my student that she did this work. Now again, a learner-centered learning specialist can do this and can create this cultural repair. But again, to be banned from a place when you are pro-learner, cultural repairer, and that's what it always claims I am on my resume and when I present myself, I don't try to sell an image. I am who I am. And this is so rare that people start thinking, this guy must have a criminal record, or this guy must have mental illness, or this guy must be the best liar in the world, or he must be narcissistic, because it's so far from the norm to somebody to walk the talk, to have made the progress I've made, to survive being poor, or survive, with very few friends, if any, and usually they're animals of other species, And so it's a challenging world, but it doesn't, for somebody that's self-actualized to become an Homo sapien up here with the right thinking tools and balance of variety of intelligence, it's a lonely world, but I can't stop. I can't stop from doing what is right for the entire system. And again, this shakes the status quo. And again, people can work with me, or they can always be in conflict mode with me. But the thing is my skill sets still apply in conflict mode, and sadly, it doesn't work out for them, but it doesn't need to be like that. It doesn't need to be always conflict. Anyways, today
So to fall under this clause, I want to be clear here, and I'm just going to read the new language because it reflects what's in the human rights language, right?
Something that I don't see, but you have the longer version.
Yeah. So we've identified an error I made in that document. I should have had this at the beginning of that document. But I did Indigenous identity, race, color, ancestry, place of origin, political belief, religion, marital status, family status, physical or mental disability, sex, sexual orientation, gender identity or expression, or age of the person, because that person has been convicted of a criminal or summary conviction offense that is unrelated to employment or to the intended employment of that person. So if you believe that the employer, the college itself, has discriminated against you based on one of these grounds, then you may have a human rights complaint. If you believe that they've discriminated you on a right outside of these, something you consider a right outside of these specific grounds, then it's likely not a human rights complaint.
Then it would have to be that it exists under some form of discrimination, which again leads back to the RCMP under hate crime.
Well, I can't speak to that.
I mean, if I tell them and I document well, why did you not send the binders for the students yet, and nobody answers? And then you get fired, when... Anyways, when I was starting to review this, you said, what do you want to see out of this? And you're going to think this is outrageous, and yet we've only tapped a little bit of the data. Payment for entire contract at the scale reassessed by third party. Damages to myself and cat, emotional, reputation, etc. Reimbursement of BCGEU fees, because so you're the first one to show signs so far of existing as, an advocate for me. Letter of apology. And that's just when I was starting to review from the beginning some of the things. But there's a lot more. And and what we reviewed so far is actually minimal. It's things that I could have forgiven, but still point out to them if they were not first to be confrontational or disrespectful or unprofessional with me by saying, please explain all these inconsistencies. And that's how I start. The first email I sent to Maggie, I actually read to Kelly Jean. Say, I want to make sure I don't end up in arguments about scale later. Can I? And she said, oh, they usually know. I said, no, I usually have to explain what a first cycle, second cycle, third cycle degree is to college staff. I usually have to explain the difference between undergraduate, graduate, and postgraduate degrees. So I read her that email. She told me to tweak a few things, and I sent it to Maggie. And again, I was giving her all the information she needed, but the effort she put in was minimal. And again, people say we can't afford to lose our first aid teacher there. Kelly told me, so when you take the first aid course, and it's like I'm the one that livened it up, and she appreciated me. And I said, ask her. We can't afford to lose Maggie, or there's a lot of turnover in HR because of Maggie. That we can't deal with this conflict right now. But what you're saying is you're happy with your systemic issues, and I should be one of your victims when you are almost not a victim of it. You are the facilitators of the systemic issues. And you don't have to fire Maggie, but somebody above her has to say, we're going to put you on a probation. Use your job. We're just going to have somebody review your work. And sometimes it's somebody that's already there as a staff, but that's super intimidated by Maggie, that could just make sure. Work as a team. If you don't want to use me as a culture repair, that's one of my recordings finishing. Because when we're in conflict mode, I record. There's a stage where if somebody already loses the trust that I want to give them, for me, you can have the RCMP tell me I can't record, and I can make very good arguments in front of a judge that I can.
And well, there's no law that prevents you from recording.
Well, there actually are, but they're...
This is scheduled to end at 11:15. I'm not as familiar with Zoom as I am with other platforms. I'm not sure if it'll automatically kick us out. If it starts to do that, I will immediately send you an updated meeting invite that we can both just log back into and then continue the conversation, okay?
Jeff, is it Teams you usually use?
Normally, yeah.
Because for me, my Mac, it's downloading Microsoft stuff. And even Zoom, I've had Zoom do bad things to both my Microsoft and my Apple computer. So I always uninstall it after. So I'm happy with the progress we made today. But again, I want to be clear that there's other categories totally different than this that I have. And what I'll do is I'll make the effort before we meet again to do a summary of these different categories for you so we can at least know for sure how they fit or not into the collective agreement. Does that sound fair?
That sounds good. Look, on this issue, what I need from you, what I need you to send me is your transcripts confirming you have a master's degree through BIU.
Okay, so they didn't ask for a transcript, but I'm going to send you what I sent Maggie because I don't like paying for transcripts for nothing, but I have screenshots of things. So I'm going to forward
If you don't have a transcript, they won't give you credit for it. You have to prove that you have the qualifications. It's up to you to prove that you have the master's degree. It's not just you saying, I have these marks that I can show you. It's you have to prove that you have the master's degree for me to make the argument that, no, your actual pay scale should have been at the 9 rather than starting at the 11. And if you can't provide that, then they can't assess it, and we don't have a grievance to go forward on.
Well, I mean, we have a lot of grievance that you have received enough information. For example, the inconsistencies of the salary without explanation, but only getting one letter of scale. There needs to be explanations. Now, they didn't ask me for that, and I guess I would have paid $25 if I knew it was worth the pay. But I don't know that it is based on the information I sent. I say, what else do you need? And what she asked for was just the number of months or hours of having worked as a tutor. So all these emails I can forward to you. Do you want me to forward to you the emails in relation to Maggie and I interacting the couple of weeks before this scale?
Yeah, yeah, please.
And
But
it has a lot
I'm
of
also going to share
attachments.
with you. I'm sharing with you though what I'm going to need to be able to have any chance at success in arguing the placement on scale. So I'm going to need from you confirmation that you do have the master's degree. So I need that in a verifiable way. So I need your transcript that shows that you are in fact that you do carry a master's degree, and
And
then we can move forward. But without that, I can't move forward on it, sir.
and it's not just a scan of the diploma you want, it's you actually want me to pay the fee to have the transcripts sent to you.
I'm not sure what the fee is for that, Marty. If you want to look into it, and
It's not a
if it's a
lot, but transcripts are usually sent directly to a person, so they open up, and that's how they're made valid. I actually once received transcripts and never opened it. In case I would need it, I'd have to dig up that envelope just to save
yeah,
that fee.
my kids and my wife with their degrees, they always get 2 or 3 when they complete a degree that are never open, that they keep them under
Well,
lock and
VIU
key,
were
and then they
supposed,
have copies on top of that, right? So
yeah, but VIU made a lot of mistakes too. So they probably when they said they were sending me my diploma and the transcripts, when I have a video of me opening that envelope and it only has the diploma in it, not the transcript. And when I tried many times to get the unofficial one, the last few times, then nothing was showing. But I can do it. Somebody will have to work on it, and the fees are manageable. But the thing is, why not ask before? And also, Jeff, just to be clear, I had two different thesis supervisors, and they both claimed to understand what sustainability is, but they didn't. So eventually, and I could send you my thesis introduction draft, which was way over their heads because they weren't science teachers, they were rec and tourism teachers, and they didn't want to really address a complex topic like sustainability. They were sustainability experts, according to their offices and cards, but they didn't understand that sustainability is a system science. It was beyond them. So eventually I got tired and I was granted the graduate diploma, which is the ones that do all the courses except for the 607, the thesis. But it's still a post, no, it's a graduate degree. So again, let's not include college, but a bachelor's is undergraduate. Anything that's in the 600s is a graduate degree, and then there's PhD, which is postgraduate, and then there's even post PhD, right? So so I'll send you that information. But again, they had it, they didn't ask. And again, just to be clear that there's the scale, then there's what's happening with all these inconsistent deductions and how they may or may not know how to apply the right way, the way I did my tax form, which is, that's my legal right to do it that way. And Kelly says, oh, they're supposed to know what they're doing. And then Kelly later was defending Maggie, was saying, I'm right after all. And then I know she's not right when she's saying this. I'm just tired of arguing. Is I'm right after all, and the taxes will be done this way. And yet they weren't. They were done inconsistently even more the last few times. Because I filled out the tax form a certain way that they should not deduct provincial and federal legally because I don't make enough income. So instead of getting it back later, it's my choice to sign it. And I showed it to them when I handed it in. Now, why did it change it? Suddenly they didn't charge both in one of the later ones, and they charge only one of the taxes. Like, are they freaking out that they now are learning things they didn't learn before and they're punishing me for it? It's not okay.
no, and as I'm sure you understand, that every payroll system has the in Canada would have the CRA rules attached to it in some form or another that would automatically make deductions as required by law in Canada. If you think that they've gone outside the law and have charged you stuff, I think that that's something you would probably want to follow up either with CRA or
It's
talk
tax
to
law.
counsel
Yeah.
on your own.
Yeah,
So,
but the thing is I shouldn't have to if the college wants to work with me on it, right? Instead of trying to convince me to do it their way, which is not even consistent. So let's do it the right way when the information is there, but don't fire me for being the bad guy while you figure it out.
Well, and it don't fire you. So, first of all, termination during probation isn't like termination for cause, right? It's not that your behavior has been so bad that the college couldn't, like, they don't have to provide proof. They have to say that you weren't suitable for the position, because your probationary period as an employee is your opportunity to prove that you are suitable for employment with that employer. And if you don't prove that you're suitable, you can be terminated for unsuitability. Once you clear the probationary period, there has to be just cause for a termination, which is a much higher test than suitability.
Okay, and Jeff, the documentation I can provide you is that they failed. I didn't. They were not suitable to manage this contract without I don't know what kind of money laundering. I'm still investigating it. I know how much money was put into this, but somehow I can't get a $3 shower reimbursed when I first arrived here at the pool in Prince Rupert, while my boss does extra errands that are not college related. And the second one, she asks, "Are you okay if I stop there?" I said, "I'd prefer not stopping there. My cat's been alone 2 days in terrace for the first time outside." She does it anyway because what I say doesn't matter. Now, the fuel and the time that the college was charged extra is errands, things I didn't want to be part of. So the way the money is being managed, this, and the way I'm documenting it, is the flaw that makes them think that I'm not suitable. I'm not suitable because I'm not trying to become like them, which is not who I am. I'm learner-centered and I'm a culture repair. I don't want to take part in systemic issues because I couldn't live with myself.
So another question I have for you, though, because you brought up again that 3 strikes you've decided against the college. So when you let them know that that's your 3rd strike, were you in fact resigning your position? Is that what you're saying?
No, because the situation, good question, Jeff, was very complex, that if the nation there would have made the choice, which would have been extremely easy, I could have kept serving the students outside of, the toxicity of the college. But unfortunately, the people in charge of that particular contract there, I think they were not learner-centered, and I've accumulated a lot of data about that as well. So again, I still have students to defend over there with that's why Jordan's principle falls under that category in certain ways, depending on the age of the students, where the college would be one of the defendants, and also the nation would be one of the defendants of blocking services under the Jordan's principle. Hey, I'm in a society where I can't even get a job as a driver for $18, and I used to own a driving school and wrote articles about defensive driving. So this is how bad we've devolved. But in the meantime, I want to be busy. So I'm doing these battles to improve culture. It's not about me. It's not about making money. It's about the right thing. I need to do this every night when I go to bed, because I don't have somebody in my life that says, "You are a good guy." I know I am, but I act the way I am, so I can live with myself. It's hard, but I can live with myself.
Okay. Now, with a grievance process, and this is what concerns me about delaying stuff for another call, is that there's a strict timeline on all grievances, and it's very specific.
When does that 30 days start?
It starts from the point in time you became aware that there was a problem. So when we're looking at your pay scale, as soon as you thought that there was a problem with your pay scale, the 30-day clock started ticking.
Okay, but it shouldn't be meetings with you, because I informed Seth of a lot of things since then. But he wasn't moving on anything. He said, "Oh, you have to fill this out." But did you read anything? Did you read anything I sent? And there's no sign that anybody did that. I send things to people. I say, "You might want to watch this before. This is, who you're dealing with. This is the data I have," and nobody does. So, and again, this is an argument I've answered with you already, Jeff, that if somehow I pass the 30 days for me, it gets escalated to a higher forum. It's not something that suddenly this injustice is erased because you don't get closure, you get disease from this, right? It's still, the closure needs to come somewhere else if it's not the BCGEU.
And it may not be if it's outside the time limit, right? Because most of let's just say oddities or differences in or technicalities, I think is the proper word, technicalities on a grievance, grievances won't be thrown out simply based on a technicality. However, language in just about every one of the 550 collective agreements that BCGEU has words of fact, except for the time limits defined in the collective agreement. So that where that leaves us is, let's say you're outside the time limits. Let's say Joe Schmo gets a hold of me and something's happened at the workplace and he has 30 days to grieve it, but he decides to think on it and it takes him 35. What I'm going to do is I'm still going to accept the grievance on face. I'm going to provide it to the employer. In all likelihood, the employer's first response is going to be, we have an objection based on time limits, a preliminary objection based on time limits. This is out of time.
Okay, Jeff, I do want to end soon, but I will follow up with this. I've documented telling the college you need to fix this. So if they use a technicality of 30 days after we spoke, you had a chance to fix this. That means it's in front of a judge in the courts if the BCGEU doesn't want to deal with it. The other thing is...
Well, labor law doesn't go in front of a judge or the courts generally, right? It goes in front of an arbitrator.
Well, see, with the Human Rights Tribunal, when I did the form, because I have one right now against the province, is do you know that there's a category at the beginning that says mediation and it's behind closed doors? Well, for me, that violates my worldview. I live a transparent life. So, of course, I could not choose this. Plus, how do human rights violations not keep occurring if things get settled behind closed doors? So they sent an email later, you did not choose that category so of mediation, so but you are in the queue to, in 9-10 months will. But the thing is, at that point, if they say, well, you could have chosen this, no. What you're asking me to do is be like my oppressors and maybe admit or not admit to things. No, that's not how you fix systemic issues. You're going to keep getting more and more caseloads. That's the opposite of human rights consequences. So when I handed that form to you, which I scanned with my signature to be, and then of course I sent you the other one because you needed to kind of open up the paragraph that the scan didn't show of the rest of my couple of lines. When you refuse that, it kind of adds the days. And then you say, well, we want to put it in one grievance instead of a couple, where a couple could have been shorter things and easier to do. But again, I'm getting expenses, right, paying the library staff to do this for me. And so, we have to work a little bit more together like this. So I'm sending you information about what I provided Maggie. You have to maybe respond to me a bit more on how you need me to send you at a particular address my transcript so you can use it as a way to negotiate. But it's not just that, right? It's actually...
Even if you have an online copy yourself, I'll take an online copy to start with. I don't think we need a stamped, official, sealed transcript. We may, if we go to arbitration, we would likely have to provide that. But at this point in time, what I just need to see is something that I can rely on, knowing that there is an official transcript. So if you've got a copy of something electronically, I'm happy to see it. You stating your grades or providing copies of your grades isn't going to cut it, right? Because that doesn't show masters. It shows you successfully
It's been a
completed
while
some courses.
Since I went on the VIU website. I'll try to see with my student number if I can get an unofficial transcript PDF. The other thing is, ask the college, because you're allowed to ask them stuff, right? A copy of my tax papers that I handed to them, the way I handed it to them. And the other thing is, I've been talking to the college pension fund right now, and I said, did you receive the letter where I am waiving, I don't want to be part of the college fund from the college? Because it was my opinion that they're supposed to send it to the college, whether you agree or deny to be part of the pension. And that could be part of the collective agreement writing or that form, because they told me they didn't get it. So that's other things, right? There's a lot of things related to that. But again, what we're talking about is minuscule in the sense of other unforgivable behaviors that, let's say I was your favorite nephew, you would say, whether it falls under collective agreement or not. So this is still very superficial stuff, but there's so much of it and there's so much data that they don't want to fix this, that we have to shove solutions down their throat. That's not okay. If it's not okay with tiny things, imagine the big things that I'll keep bringing to your attention that is not okay at the college. which really I'm not the only victim. And when I tell them, hey, you need to review a lot of scales that you might have screwed up for other people, you as a staff of the BCGEU now need to say, hey, we need to do an investigation. So yeah, that's important. I'm not the only victim because this is systemic issues.
So, what I want to touch base with you here on, though, is so this is clearly a collective agreement issue, your placement on scale. That's definitely something that I can assist with, that I can do some research on, and we can see if it was done correctly per the terms of the collective agreement, or if it was done wrong, and if there corrections need to be in place, and we can look at that. Other issues that have come out of this that are specifically collective agreement related and we're able to file a grievance on, I'm concerned if you're going to delay and not provide me the information today, that you're going to be out of time. And that's a choice you're making now, sir. You're making a choice to be out of time, and it won't be heard. So I would like you to share with me the other issues so that if I am able to act on them, I can.
Okay. So Jeff, I'm not going to do it right now, but I'm going to send you an email before the end of the day. Is that okay? Because I want to review the collective agreement to save us both time of what may already fall under the collective agreement. And I'll even quote whatever number. So I'm going to review the 2 latest documents you sent me related to collective agreement and write notes of what would be the other categories that we didn't talk about yet. Okay? And I'll send this to you.
Give me a synopsis about how those areas were breached too, how you see that they were breached as part of that email, okay?
Oh, okay, so not just the article, but actually how it was breached. Okay.
Yeah, because if you're just sending me the article, I have a copy of the collective agreement. I can read it myself, but I don't know what your circumstances were. There's no way
no,
for
I
me
won't.
to know
I'm
that
not
unless
gonna,
you tell
just
me.
going to send you a number. but yeah, okay. Don't be a cuddly teddy bear at the end and then make me kind of want to. But okay, so
I'm being my true self, Marty.
well, you do seem you do seem like to have a lovable nature, when the circumstances are right. But I would like to challenge you to have that be with everybody, because come into these meetings with knowing this is a victim or a person that perceives themselves as a victim, and the sensitivity is, and it's okay to say, oh, please, boundaries with language. But again, when there's respect, it manifests in both ways, right? And again, email is not always the best way to communicate, without having had at least a few in-person or video conferences. But I want to go use the pool. I don't like being away from a bathroom very long. And also, I got to do laundry today. But I will send you that before the end of the day. It could be your finished work, but before the end of the day, the library closed at 9 today. I'll get to send you that email, okay?
Okay, and just so that you know, I don't have time again this week to meet again. So I have a chunk of time cut out here today. I was willing to give up the period of time that I normally take for a lunch break to continue meeting with you. However, the rest of this week, I will not have time to meet with you.
Okay, and again, when I send you that email, it's dated today. So if you can only meet me next week, I'm not passing a deadline because of your schedule, right? So
you could be. You could
well,
very well be.
that's then again we're looking at human
choice,
rights
Marty.
I'm
offering it. Well, it wouldn't be human rights either, because I'm not discriminating based on any protected ground. I'm actually not discriminating at all. I'm telling you that I want to help you get these grievances in. I want to help you get this done. There's a process involved, and you may not agree or like the process, but that's the way it is. It's an agreed upon, negotiated process.
The process is very black and white, and it's usually a third party that can bring that to the attention of the BCGEU that seem to work against a little bit the people they're supposed to advocate for. Now, we're not finishing yet. I want to finish soon. So, last question. So the form I sent you, do you now have enough information to make it valid?
No, that's not a grievance, Marty.
And do you also insist that everything is in one form?
Do I insist? No, but I will tell you it's better that way, because it's all related to the term of employment you had at the college, right? So it's better to address it
but
that
it's
way.
better for
having
who?
It for everybody involved.
Well, it should be about better for the victim.
If you prefer to submit them individually, please fly at it. apply at it. All I'm doing here, I mean, you're an adult, you're an intelligent adult. You make those decisions on your own. I'm a professional in this field. I'm telling you what I think would be best. But you don't have to accept my advice. I'm not here with a gavel saying this is the way it's going to be done. I'm telling you, based on my experience, how this will work best. If you choose to go a different route, that is your right, sir. I'm not
Yeah, and
challenging your
work
rights to do
best,
things
again,
differently.
we're going with the status quo of the culture. What works best for me would have been to separate them in categories related to the collective agreement, but not all in the same form, which is very limited for me to fill out, and which would take a lot of schemas to be built with the documentation I sent you and conversations to actually be done right. But again, I don't want you to just defend me with the college. I want to speak in whatever forum this is. So thank you, and I would really like for you to send me a copy of this recording when you figure out how to do it, and I'm sure you have access to tech support to help you figure that out. So,
well, like I said at the beginning, Marty, I won't be sending it. What I will is I'll send you an email address of the person that works in our privacy. I think their title is privacy commissioner. I'm not 100%
well,
sure, but
show
they
them
look
this
after all that
video,
stuff. Well, hold on.
and
Let
I'm
me
giving
finish,
you
sir.
permission right
Let
now.
me finish, sir. I will give you their email, and you can reach out to them and ask for disclosure of the information on your files, okay? And that's not with me. I'm not sending you anything that's specific to this. I did keep it on record, so as long as it worked, there is a recording. I don't know, I've never recorded one before, but it did say it was recording, so...
You might want to ask them how to give permission for recordings too. It'd be a valuable thing for your job. Now, I'm going to let you go.
It may be. In all the years I've done it, Marty, you're the first person to ask for it, so I don't think it's
That's
that
pretty
valuable.
scary,
But
yeah. Okay, so go ahead, because I
no,
want to
so
finish.
you're sending me the stuff from BIU as soon as you can find it. You're going to send me a list of the other collective agreement articles. I want to make sure you understand that the filling of the grievance form, that's something we can do together. That's something I can assist you with so that we can make it done.
What do you mean by that? You mean like in a video conversation?
Yeah, we can go over that again. Like, I'm not going to submit it on your behalf if it's something that you don't want, right? So I want to go through it with you, and because the last grievance form, the one that you sent to me, I'm going, okay, this isn't going to work. Specifically, the remedy was never going to work, and there wasn't information in the body of the grievance to support a grievance itself. So I can help with that. I know how that process works, right? So I can assist with that. You did at the beginning of this discuss what you wanted to see as a remedy. And made sense to me at the time. So I'll be going back, I'll listen to this again, and we can make sure that we have
and
that
that's
as a remedy
when
on
I had
grievance.
reviewed only part of my case so far, which includes everything. So, but it's still something, yeah. So thanks for that, Jeff. And if you can hang up now, I mean, I can press leave, but maybe I'll let you end the call there. Thank you very much, and I'll send you my first email before the end of the day.
Perfect. Take care.
Bye-bye.